cosmic energy.
The religion is the solution for the things happening all around the world.
Jihad does not mean any war fought by any Muslim. Jihad basically means to strive to struggle. The Hindus and the Muslims will be united. He is not cosmic energy, he is more superior than that. Quran gives you the solution to the problems of humankind. Not that we shall despise each other. That according to Japan, India will be the superpower of the world. We will be a superpower, will be far superior to the Americans.
Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Udu ila sabri rabbika bil hikma wal mau'izatil hasana wajadilhum billati ahsan. Min lisani yafqahu qawli. I welcome all of you with Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on all of you. We are more welcome to ask any questions on Islam and religion. So if any brothers have any question, they're most welcome.
अस्सलामु अलैकुम सर, जैसे कुरान में आता है कि नमाज पढ़ो, तो अल्लाह के रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने उसका पूरा तरीका बताया कि ऐसे नमाज पढ़ो करके। तो इस्लाम में तबलीग करने का कोई ऐसा फिक्स तरीका है क्या कुरान में या हदीसों में? ऐसा कोई फिक्स तरीका तबलीग करने का दीन की?
There is a question that how it's mentioned in the Quran, you should offer salah. Similar thing is mentioned in the hadith. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has showed how to offer salah. So he's asking a question that is there any way which the Prophet has showed about doing tabligh, doing dawah? We speak about how to do dawah, and there are various hadith. All these are guidelines for us. In the Islamic Sharia, you should be very careful that in the thing of ibadah, like offering salah, or like giving zakat, or about tawheed, whatever is mentioned in the Quran and Hadith, only that should be followed, nothing else. What has been told in the Quran and the Hadith, only that should be followed. Anything else besides what is mentioned in the Quran and Hadith, what Allah and the Messenger said, it is wrong. But what is mentioned is correct. In the other aspects besides worship, anything mentioned in the Quran and the Hadith that is haram is prohibited, everything is allowed. So in the thing of worship and the aspect of worship, whatever is mentioned is a fard, what is not mentioned is prohibited in the aspect of worship. In all the aspects of non-worship, like how to eat, how to dress, how to talk, including dawah, what is mentioned something that's fard is fard, maybe mustahab, but what is not mentioned is permitted. It may come in the category of farz, may come in the category of mustahab, that is encouraged, maybe come in the category of mubah, or maybe makruh. So what is mentioned haram, is prohibited. What is not mentioned haram is halal, is permitted. In the permitted category, it may come as farz, that is compulsory. It may come as mustahab, that is encouraged. It may come as mubah, that is optional, or come as makruh, which is discouraged. That depends upon the hadith. So here we analyze that in the same way, there are various guidelines mentioned in the Quran and the hadith. So there are various guidelines in the Quran and hadith. For example, the verse I started my talk with, Surah Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 125, it says, Udu ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah wal mau'izatil hasana wajadilhum billati ahsan. Invite all to the way of their Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and argue with of the important verses in the Quran mentioning about dawah. Now, how to understand it, people may differ. Some people may say that hikmah means always being soft. It should not hurt anyone. This verse is normally quoted by many people. And especially when Shaykh Didat went on the stage, people used to say, they speak with hikmah. Indirectly telling him that, say, don't be too harsh. See, here the Quran doesn't, don't be harsh. Quran says, invite all to the way of thy Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching. So the Quranic guidelines is wisdom and beautiful preaching. Now some people may misunderstand. They may think wisdom and beautiful preaching is always being soft. It can be, most of the time you should be soft, but it can't be for 100% you have to be soft. The Quran says wisdom and beautiful preaching. Now what is wisdom in one time, what is right for one occasion may not be right for the other occasion. So depending upon the occasion. So people normally even tell me that when I go or giving lectures to the non-Muslims, before the talk, Zakir bhai speak with hikmah. Indirectly telling me, Zakir bhai, be soft. Like, don't be too harsh and don't attack them, or, you know. So I'm not saying that wisdom means that. Wisdom means, beautiful preaching means getting the job done, letting them know the message of Islam. Verse number 125. The context of few verses earlier, where the ruku starts. It says that in Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam is a beautiful example. That means, look at the lifestyle of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the way he did dawah. And when you see cross reference, it shows in some places of the Quran that he broke the idols. Some places it says that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he told his father that he was a mushrik and he was kicked out from the house. So at times when you have to say the person is a mushrik, you have to say, irrespective whether it's a father, he may be kicked out from his house. So that was hikmah. So people fail to realize many guidelines given in the Quran. So this is one of the important verses of dawah. There are various such verses. For example, Surah Al-Imran chapter 3, verse number 64 says, Ta'alaw ila kalmatin sawa'im bainakum. Come to common terms as between us and you. Which is the first term? Allah na'budu illallah. That we worship none but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here this is a guideline which, according to me, I feel this is one of the to a Muslim, come to common terms. What is mentioned in his scripture, our scripture, what is common? At least that is agreed to follow what is common. And the most important aspect of commonality, the Quran says, is Allah na'budu illallah. That you worship none but Allah. So the most important aspect of dawah is tawheed. So in this way, there are guidelines given in the Quran, guidelines given in the Hadith. Like our beloved Prophet said, it's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, Ballighu anni walau ayah. Propagate even if you know one verse. So if you know one verse about Islam, as long as you know it correctly, propagate. So like that, there are several verses in the Quran and the Hadith talking about dawah. But since it doesn't come in the category of salah or zakah or tawheed, all what is mentioned in the Quran and the Hadith, some part becomes fard, some becomes mustahab, depending upon the context and the verses of the Quran or the Hadith. But if suppose, now I'm speaking on the microphone, you will ask me that did the Prophet speak on the microphone? I said no, Prophet didn't speak. No, this comes in mamlat, this comes in dawah, which is an important aspect, which is the fard in Islam, but doesn't come in the category of salah or zakah. Dawah fard is compulsory, no two doubts. But how to do it? You have to take guidelines from Quran and Sunnah. But if there was a hadith saying, don't speak in the microphone, then speaking on the microphone is haram. You know? So if you ask me, that did Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam speak on the television? Did he come on the satellite? So is satellite haram in the context of Quran? You have to analyze it. If it's not breaking the law of the Sharia, it's allowed. If it is breaking, it's haram. So most of the television programs are haram because it deals with obscenity, with un-Islamic aspect. But if it doesn't deal with that, it becomes halal. So you can use this mode, this media, for propagating Islam, though it is not mentioned in the Quran and Hadith. But the very verse in the Quran says that invite all to the way of the Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching. So my wisdom today is that I am using the satellite channel. But if I use anything for dawah, which is mentioned as haram in the Quran and the Hadith, then it is wrong. So what you mentioned about salah, brother, salah comes in the category of the 5 pillars, or direct the immediate part, the ibadah. That is tawheed, salah, zakah, Ramzan, Hajj. So in these aspects, what is mentioned is only what you can do. You cannot deviate. You cannot say that I want to pray with one leg. I want to stand on one leg and pray salah. You said, see, the Prophet didn't say that standing on one leg and praying is haram. So can I pray? No, you cannot pray. Because that is the 5 pillars of Islam. But if you're sick, and if you have a problem, you can pray while sitting. That's what the Quran says, that's what the Hadith says. So the guidelines given, what is allowed is permitted. The same in dawah, there are guidelines, alhamdulillah. You mention the Quran and the Hadith. Follow the guidelines and see that you don't break any rule of the Sharia. For that, you can give a lecture for a full day on that aspect. Hope that answers the question. Any sisters have any questions?
Sir, I wanted to know, like there is so many people following the wrong things, doing idol worship, and speak about the Prophet wrongly. I always keep wondering, how come is
The question that we find in the Quran and various ahadith and other aspects of the Islamic books, that many people have wronged, spoken against the Prophet. He's wondering, how will so many people go to hell? The thing is that it's a test. For example, if you analyze that in the examination of the lower grade, most of the people pass. The higher level you go, it becomes difficult to pass. So if you analyze that there are hadith saying, even of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that there will be more women in hell than men. So people ask me, does that mean that women will make more sin? I said, Allahu Alam. But the population of women are more in this world. So logically, population of women in hell also will be more. That's the answer I give. But depending upon the context is very important. The Prophet did say more women will be in hell. Why? So I give a logical that more percentage of women is there in the world. So hell and heaven. I don't know whether in heaven there will be more women or not. There's no hadith stating that. That we have to analyze separately. But as far as the question is concerned, sister, that you don't realize or you don't understand that how will so many people go to hell? So that is the reason, sister, that those who have realized that, those are the people who will come to the straight path. And even many people, after realizing that, what they think, that, oh, I at least will go to Jannah. You know, because the other people are so bad, I will surely go to Jannah. So the hadith of Hazrat Umar radiallahu anh, he said that if you know that there is one person going to go to Jannah, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you would be that person who go to Jannah. Other than me, so where's the question of me entering Jannah? So pray to Allah that you be that person. And if you know that one person is going to go to hell, you pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may I not be that person. You cannot say, okay, you know, I am doing such good words, I am offering 5 times salah, I am giving zakah, that person is a robber, that person is doing sin. So if one person is going to go to Jannah, surely it will not be me. Even if you know that one person is going to go to Jahannam, you should pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may that not be me. So based on this hadith, we realize that we have to strive and follow the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here in the Quran, Allah does say that most of the men yet do not know. That means most of the people are not following the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there are guidelines we see around us that most of the people are not following the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the reason we realize that in hell, the guidelines, that's the reason we should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has given us hidayah. But after He has given us hidayah, it's our duty that we follow His commandments. We know many people who are Muslims, but they aren't following the guidance of Quran and Sunnah. So these people who have realized and read the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yet they do not follow. So we should pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should not be one of them. But if most of the people fail the examination, they have to go to hell. For example, if you go for a hand examination like a medical entrance test. So those people who want to go to medical college after passing 12, majority want to go, if we analyze more than 50%, but how many get in? Only a small percentage. I don't know whether it's 5%, 2%, 1%, but it's a very small percentage who actually get admission into medical college. So you cannot say that I don't understand how will so many. If you have to enter medical college, you have to study, you have to work hard, and you have to study. Similarly, to enter Jannah, it is not very easy. It may be more difficult than a medical examination. So this is a test for our sister for the hereafter, and those who follow the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah they'll enter Jannah. Hope that answers the question, sister. Any brother have any question? Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. Zakat is to be given to the deserving persons. So far, so good. But there are certain people who say zakat should not be given to Sayyids. What's your comments on that?
There was asked the question that the various criteria for giving zakat, they should be given to the people. And if you read the Quran, in the Quran, Surah Tawbah, chapter 9, verse number 60, it gives 8 categories of people whose zakat can be given. There was asked the question that he has heard that saying that you cannot give zakat to a Sayyid. Now, if we analyze that at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, he said that this zakat should be given to the family members of the Prophet. That is the hadith. There's a hadith mentioning that zakat should not be given to the family members of the Prophet. And it is a very logical reason. The Prophet did not want people to think that zakat has been kept so that the family members of the Prophet will benefit. So to prevent understanding of this misinformation, or people may misunderstand the Prophet, that's the reason the rule of the Sharia is very clear, and I agree with it, that the family members of the Prophet should not be given zakat. Now, there are people who claim that we are descendants of the Prophet. See, all of the Ummah of Muhammad, but descend with direct lineage, direct blood relation, no? Like from the daughter, then son, daughter, whatever lineage, and they have a shajara, whatever it is. So one thing that there is even a thinking that anyone whose name is Sayyid is a descendant of the Prophet. Now how true it is, Allahu Alam, I don't know. I don't know whether the name being Sayyid. I know many people who have transformed from Khan to Sayyid. So for me, as it is, if you are a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the hadith says it is not allowed them to take zakat, and you should not give zakat. But now, today's age, unless you're very sure of that lineage, where very few percentage will be having, but just by the surname. So I don't know of any hadith saying that Sayyid should not be given zakat. I know hadith of saying that the family members of the Prophet should not be given zakat. So whether Sayyid fall in that category, I don't know. So that you have to inquire. But if you ask me today, there are scholars who have said that just by name, and if you don't know the lineage, etc., and now seeing the situation where 1400 years have passed, unless it's very known for sure that this is a very clear cut, like how you say, hadith, known for sure. Like you have to go into the Ravi and everything. Otherwise, so in such cases, generally in the world, if the surname is Sayyid, then that now, just on the surname, not giving zakat may not be valid, you can give zakat. But some scholars yet say, hey, Sayyid means lineage of the Prophet, don't give zakat. Which I personally agree with the first group of scholars. Point number one, so many generations have passed. So that itself, rule, if it's the hadith, you have to follow it. But whether the implications will really be a problem now. And the main question is that just by surname saying that he's a direct descendant is a big query. And how far will you go? How close the descendant? So generally, if I'm in your case and if you ask me, I would say that in this situation, especially in India, just by the surname, I feel if you feel that really the person is deserving and requires help from your zakat, I feel there should be no problem. I agree with the first group of scholars. Hope that answers the question. Any brothers have any questions? Yes, brother.
Ibrahim alayhi salam said, this is my sister, not wife. Is it allowed for us to say like that?
The brother asked the question that Ibrahim alayhi salam said that this is my sister, not my wife. Is it allowed? So general guidelines of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always speak the truth. But if your life is in danger, the Quran says you can even do shirk. But in your heart there should be iman. Point number one. That are you a Muslim or a Hindu? And you say you're a Hindu. Or will you do idol worship? And you say yes. Allah gives you permission in such situation where your life is in danger. You can say something even though in your heart there is iman. The moment the danger is put away, it's not compulsory. You can say that no, I'm a Muslim and get killed. That's also permitted. But you're also given the permission, if your life is in danger, you can tell a lie for that situation to save your life. In your heart there should be iman. This is rule number one of the Sharia. As far as in context of Ibrahim alayhi salam, when you say that this is my sister, there are certain things where if you analyze that hadith, that when some people ask some sahabas, they were mashallah very truthful, they use certain things which the answer was right, but maybe they didn't hit the nail on the head. For example, there was one incident that somebody was searching for a sahaba, and one of the enemies asked, he did not know how the person looked. I forgot the name of the sahaba, and they asked him, have you seen this person? So that sahaba takes a step forward and says, I just saw him standing here. That means instead of saying that it is me, he told a truth, he didn't tell a lie. Fine? He could have said, I don't know where it is, because his life is in danger. Islam gives permission. So here he said, he was just standing here. So he didn't tell a lie also. He spoke a truth. So in this context, for example, I said that if any sister has a question, and my wife asked from the ladies' wing. So she's my wife, but she's a sister in Islam in the context of the ummah, but yet she's my wife. So relationship, she's my wife. But generally when I say, and there are some people who say, Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters except one. And people laugh. So this is fine. Assalamu brothers and sisters except one. I mean, what? I don't have to say that except one. Just because my wife is in the lady sitting there, I don't have to say, okay, except one. It is understood. So when I say any sister has any question, I'm talking about sister in Islam. It is not sister of blood relation. Right? So same way, I don't know in which context Ibrahim said that if I have to, because it's clearly mentioned in the Quran, that the allegation against Ibrahim that it will lie. So based on this, if I have to give a reply, it meant sister in Islam. The Quran says in Surah Tawbah, chapter number 9, verse number 71, Allah says, Wal mu'minin wal mu'minat, ba'am awliya'as, that the mu'min men and women, they are supporters and helpers of one another. Meaning, they are brothers and sisters to one another. So in this context, so in which context Ibrahim said, but the Quran says that, he said it, through the Prophet and given it. So maybe he used this strategy to see to it that he does not tell a lie and yet gets away from the problem. Hope that answers the question. Any brother have any questions? Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. It's been some months since you had the symposium with Sri Sri Shankar. Could you narrate some incidents which you have experienced after that pertaining to the talk?
Well, the question that it has been few months since I had the debate or symposium with Sri Sri Shankar. Is there anything pertaining to that after that you have asked me? Yes, immediately after that, we had a sequel to the dialogue, concept of God in Hinduism and Islam, between myself and Sri Sri Shankar. The sequel is the follow-up, succession. Because there I was trying to see to it that I didn't hurt anyone's feeling. I was trying my best to convey the message, which I did there. But we had a sequel just giving the background, that many things I did not say because I didn't want to hurt him, but yet see to it that the message is conveyed. Sequel, basically we had many things which he mentioned in the book, which were against Islam, though it did not fall in the topic. Some I did clear it fell in the topic. Some which were not there, I didn't want to go outside the topic. So that sequel was mainly kept to let the masses know, the world know, that the book is written on the common thread between Hinduism and Islam. There are many mistakes. In fact, it's not worth revision also. There are hundreds of mistakes. So just to clarify these mistakes he has made, and many things what he says is wrong. So that was a sequel, because he's a very popular figure. So that's the reason we had a sequel to it, give more explanation, and that also inshallah will be released shortly. Hope that answers the question. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
السلام إليك السلام فيا رب إنك أنت السلام منك السلام إليك السلام لأمرك يرجع أمر الأنام بين يديك قلوب الأنام لأمرك يرجع أمر الأنام بين يديك